Hey guys, it's your girl Corporate Carolyn, or Auntie Carolyn, as some of you might call me, since I am 58, and a lot of you are going to think, what does that lady know? Who is she to tell us anything about our business? So duly noted, that can all be said, and I'm not mad at you. But I had a thought that I wanted to share with you because it's during a political season, and every time I turn my TV on, they're promoting one candidate or another based on their opinions on a woman's right to choose. Actually, I'm very tired of it, and I don't want to talk about that because I hate politics. But one thing that I really do care about is a woman's right to choose. And as a single lady, you have one of the most important choices that anyone on this earth could ever make. You get to decide who your child's father is. No one else, just you. You are the keeper of the gate, the person who's in control of your fertility, the person who decides who you sleep with, whether you use protection or not. And as I've told a lot of young women before, the pill really works. And I only have 2 children because I only wanted 2 children. And children are wonderful, but they're even better if you take the time to plan them. And there's so many women that I'm seeing, unfortunately, that are letting, the fact that a guy is sexy, that he's cute, that he spends money on you, that, he might be on good behavior for a bit, or you just might be, in need of, some sexual healing, as Marvin Gaye would say. That's your business if you decide to get it, but it shouldn't result in a child that wasn't planned. So many women run down their children's fathers saying, he's no good, he doesn't take care of them, he's not in the child's life, he needs to do better, I have to be the mother and the father. Okay, I get it. That can catch you off guard one time. And you notice I'm not saying a mistake, because no child should be considered a mistake, but unplanned is a fair enough term. And so I could see that happening to you once, maybe even twice, but some ladies are having 3, 4, 5 children by different fathers. And that's a problem for the Black community. It leaves a lot, or a young generation of children whose fathers are not present. And then some people say, oh, well, what does that matter? I was raised in a single parent home and I turned out fine. I was too. But I'm here to tell you, I missed having a father in my life. I was embarrassed when my cousins, I'm a daddy's girl, my father and I. That still hurts me today, that I have some relatives that say that kind of stuff in front of me. And I'm not sure if they know that that's hurtful or not, but any mom who thinks that a child is not embarrassed, especially young Black men. And I've spoken to some Black mothers that my kids interacted with, and one of them was really problematic during high school. And, he was having a lot of issues, behavioral, academic. And so she was just saying, basically that he won't listen. She's tried everything. And I was asking about, the kid's father, if he could be involved. And he's like, oh, well, he's better off not being around. And that may be true, but I told her, I said, you're kidding yourself if you think that that young man is not embarrassed living in the area that we live in, going to the school functions like sporting events. He played football, and for a time he was actually pretty good, if I remember correctly, but he was surrounded by a lot of kids whose dads were there cheering, whose dads were there coaching, and his dad was nowhere to be found. And I've known him since he was probably maybe in the 2nd grade, and never have I seen that child's father. And he was at a lot of functions just with his mom, and his mom was very hard on him, telling coaches to be hard on him because he didn't have a man in his life. So that child was mortally embarrassed, not just seeing white kids with their fathers, but seeing other Black kids with their fathers too. So, can some of this, just not be helped yes, people are going to get divorced. Like I said, one or two times where someone has this happen to them is very unfortunate. But there are some young ladies that are making these choices intentionally. It's harmful to the Black community, especially. When you look at a lot of the Indian and Asian populations, these children are being raised in two-parent homes. And a lot of times they have, two college-educated parents that are paying for them to go to college or pushing them to get on a good path. And then some of our children are hindered from the start because they have that one parent, that's going to bat, doing everything that they can do. And hats off to single mothers. I saw my mother doing it without any assistance or help. It's a hard job. You're to be commended, not to be, condemned or anything. But after two, it's really the wrong choice. That's all I can say to you. And it's very hurtful to not only your children, but it's hurtful to the Black community. And it's one of the reasons why, if you ever watch the news in the DC metropolitan area, a lot of times you hear them talking about DC is a city under siege. And I wonder, where are both parents, not just one, where are both parents when kids that are 13, 14, 15 are stealing these cars, where the DC area has the highest carjacking rate right now? There was some talk at one point of sending the National Guard there to deal with a lot of the young criminals that are on the street. And I even heard something about a curfew being imposed recently, because you have to ask, where are the parents when 13, 14, 15-year-olds are out at 11 o'clock at night, on a school night, and where truancy rates are really high? That's the kind of stuff that's handled by two parents being in the home, or a super vigilant mom. But if mom has to work, 2 and 3 jobs just to keep everything paid for, how is she able to keep her eyes on everything? And finally, the last thing I can say, having these extra children, like there was a lady on, I think, a program with, or video with Kevin Samuels, where, or maybe one of the other counterparts to a Kevin Samuels, where a lady with 7 children was saying if he thought it was unrealistic for her to be able to find, her Mr. Right, or a husband, a high quality or high value man, as they put it. And a lot of people were laughing and making a joke of it. It's not funny. Sure, the Lord can bless her with, a wonderful husband. I'm not saying that that's not possible, but what I am saying is, once you start choosing to have these children without a husband or without the benefit of marriage, you are affecting the trajectory of your life path. Like you could have been going, up here with your college degree and, getting your career established, then hopefully meeting your husband, if you made that a choice and a goal, meeting your husband, having your kids, choosing to do it in a 2-parent home, and to someone who actually wants children, not a person who's like, that's not my baby. And all of the women that were on Maury embarrassing themselves and their children down the road, where they don't even know who the father is. This really needs to stop. So listen to Auntie Carolyn. You have the right to do whatever you want to do. It is your life, but you do have choices, more than just the choice of aborting a baby. You have the choice of condoms, birth control pills, or any other number of things you can choose. You also have the choice of saying no and, keeping the legs closed. I always joke with my sons saying, keep your ding-a-ling in your pants. We all have choices, and I'm just encouraging you to use your right to choose something different for your future kids in the down the road. That's all I'm saying. And also for your life, I truly believe if I had gotten knocked up like my mother was afraid of when I was a child living in the projects of Augusta, Georgia, my mom's favorite thing to say was, Callan, and that's what they called me in the South, not Carolyn, but Callan, I ain't raising no babies. Callan, I ain't raising no babies. And she would constantly ask me at 14 and 15, are you messing with those boys? You better not be messing with those boys, because I ain't raising no babies. 30s, and I used to have nightmares. I was terrified and really scared. But can I tell you something? The husband that I met in college, if I had had 1 or 2 children, I don't think we'd be here today. After over 30 years of being married and 2 children of our own, I think that we probably would have missed each other. One of the college roommates that I had when I was a freshman at Clemson University back in the 80s, we were there together as roommates, and we went out on a double date, met 2 guys. She continued dating the guy that she went out with. She got pregnant. I never saw her again. She never returned to Clemson. She went off. She had a baby. I don't know if they got married or not, but she didn't finish her college degree the way that she had intended. And so I don't really know what happened to her. We just lost touch. But it changed the trajectory of where she was going. I'm sure she's fine, but it might not be plan A. It might be the plan B that she chose. So I just want you to choose the absolute best path that God has planned for you and for your future children. So I'm going to get off my soapbox now, but I would love to hear your feedback. You don't have to agree with me. My opinions are my opinions because I'm old. But just because you have a different opinion, it doesn't mean that I won't listen and that I won't politely engage with you. But would love to hear from you. Talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.